Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's been a little bit. Welcome to another Thursday live stream. I know we did not have one last week, bit of unfortunate circumstances. However, we're back again, and hopefully, we won't have any more hiccups like that going forward as far as missing streams go. And obviously, uh, nothing on Sunday. I was planning on doing lessons every Sunday as a live stream too, but given the circumstances, it's best to let my ears take a break. And I have not played a guitar plugged in over a week. It's been very strange, but say la vie. We'll get into that in a second. Hey, Rex. Rex, that's awesome. You're going to do a triathlon. I actually just sent you emails. I opened up my Audiomo email because I haven't opened it in like a week. I've just been kind of trying to stay off of the computer as much as possible, and I don't have access to it on my phone, which is stupid of me. But yeah, let me know. You very gracious offer, and we will be announcing. I already have the winner for the record. All you had to do is leave a comment on that video I made where I talked about Rex's record. He's getting big too, or big for his age too. Sorry, I was thinking of a different album I had in my head. However, we'll get to that in a little bit. And yeah, let me tell you something. It won't go away. I don't think it's gonna go away. It's a pretty horrible feeling. Yeah, I've been sleeping in the other room because at night I have so much anxiety. I felt terrible for my wife. We were asleep together in the bed, and I woke up from like some sort of cold sweat or something, and I just like smacked the other side of the bed, like, oh my god, like jumping up, and like she jumped out, and I didn't think much of it. I fell back asleep. About 2 hours later, I did the same thing. Luckily, she kind of goes on like her end of the bed, like we have a king size bed. She's like on her side, and I just like jumped up, smacking both sides, like in it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna sleep in the other room until this kind of settles down. But not a whole lot with music stuff as far as playing music or anything like that. And I wanted to thank everybody that has reached out and left, like really positive stuff and encouraging stuff. And unfortunately, I don't know what could be done. And the one thing that really worries me the most, although it probably, at the point I am in life and where I am as a musician, it shouldn't worry me as much as it does, but it's potentially not being able to play the drums again. Because you could buy a 1 watt amp, you could buy a Helix, you can buy all that other stuff and still have the real guitar and all that, at a lower volume. Drum kit, that ain't happening. And don't tell me about electronic drums. Do you know how many of those I've gone through? Trying to get one that doesn't feel terrible, that responds anywhere near like what a real kit does, that gives you that real feeling. Not even close. So that might be dead in the water. That might be dead in the water, and that freaks me out because without the drums, you'd never see me here now. That was the beginning of all of this. So, I don't know. I'll have to see what the audiologist says. Although it's kind of funny. I'm in Southwest Florida. So, primarily all they do is for elderly people that are losing their hearing and things of that nature, and hearing aids and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's gonna he's gonna have fun with me, I suppose. Well, we'll see. Hey, Greg. Hey, Rafa. How you doing? Yeah, it's I started to get into it, and again, this is not something I want to talk about the whole stream. Just wanted to give a little update here, and yeah, I haven't been just active. I've been trying to tune myself out. Been running with the dog, and relaxing. I've been even watching American sports. Yeah, I used to be a huge Knicks fan, and funny enough, 'cause my dad still loves the Knicks. My dad still loves the Yankees. He still loves the Rangers and the Giants. And I was watching this series against Cleveland, and I've watched a few games this season. And at the end of it, after they won, the Knicks won a playoff series. And if you don't know basketball, that's like an anomaly. I think the last time that happened was a decade ago. They were talking about the last team that won a playoff series for the Knicks, and they're naming off the players. And I was just like, oh my God, that's the last group of players I really remember, like the entire starting five. And I never liked Carmelo Anthony. Never. Not once. But, yeah, they got knocked out in the second round by the Pacers. I do remember that. Hey, how's it going, Marcus? And I know Marcus is a big Knick fan, too. So they probably got a chuckle or a mean look because Carmelo Anthony, he divided opinion. I was not on the bandwagon for him in his time in New York. It's not going away. I've had it since the late '80s. It does go through cycles for the years where it's very sporadic, though. I hope that's all I can hope for. But I mean, if I'm already this paranoid about it, the thought of the drums is what kills me, because I could throw on some big old cans that noise cancel everything out, right, and maybe hit them a little bit once in a while. But if I want to record, that's out of the question, because I need a click going ding 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 in my ear, and the music loud enough to go over me hitting the drums hard. There's no way around that. That's it. And yeah, that scares the living hell out of me. That scares me. Because the guitar stuff, I can fudge it. I already have a few ideas and stuff like that, but it'd be really sad if I don't get to play drums. You are bringing up bad memories. You want to hear about bad memories? I don't care. This is my stream. I'll talk about the Knicks one more time. And I bet if my dad's watching this, he'll appreciate this. When I was a kid, yeah, we lived in New York. We used to go to a lot of Knicks games. All right. My dad was an official. He actually went to school and played high school ball, Rice High School, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar himself before he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor. And I ended up meeting him. The guy's hands are bigger than a basketball. I've never been so intimidated by just the size of a man in my entire life. It's freaking gigantic. But I remember one game we went to. You'll know what game I'm talking about. You're older like I am. We were up by, I think, 7 points with 31 seconds to go in the playoffs in a do-or-die game. And Reggie Miller happened. We have the last possession of the ball. Final countdown comes on, because it always does, in between timeouts. Patrick Ewing, to this day, I could not explain to you why, does not dunk the ball. He goes for a finger roll off the back of the iron and out. The Knicks are out. I bring this up. Walking out of MSG, it was before all, obviously, this is decades ago. It was well before they fixed the arena up. And I'll never forget, we're going down the stairs, because it's the fastest way to get out. I've never seen so many grown men crying in my entire life. You saw people that were angry, people that were drunk, people that were whatever, and you see that with anything. I've seen that all the time in sports. Going to a lot of sporting events in New York, it's part of the culture. It doesn't matter what team you support, you're gonna see that stuff. But the dejection on these people, it's just grown men. I remember looking around like, oh my god, I was so mad. I was so mad. And that sums up my relationship with the New York Knicks. Anyways, you don't need expensive in-ear mods or inner molds for your protection. Plenty of decent ones out there that are quite cheap. Yeah, I agree with Ian on that. There's a lot of stuff that you can get like right out of the box, and you'll be fine as far as protection for your ears go. You'll be fine. I've had some bad bouts with it. Have gone after a month or so, but I still have chirping in my ears. Oh, God. I'm starting to suspect the sing of spring reverb is making it worse. That actually makes a lot of sense to me, because you might just have a frequency. Yours might be high frequency burnout. And the thing that does you in might be those. And a chirping spring reverb, yeah, that's like a crash symbol, like maybe like a 16 or a 17 inch, like a projection crash, not like a darker crash. That kind of frequency, oh, that would do it too. Mine is more on the low end of things. So, still not fun either way. Sorry to hear that, man. Medications can make it worse too. That's why I'm not taking any. My medication is fresh air, exercise, and just straight up rest for my ears. I put them through hell. They deserve a little bit of a break, even though it kills me. Kills me. Because, I mean, obviously, you got that guy back there. That's whatever. But I've really just wanted to play guitar. And one guitar in particular through an amp. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Absolutely know what it's like. The rabbit hole can cost thousands. So, well, everything's a rabbit hole when it comes to all gear. And it's all different segments. Like, Rafa just built a pedal board. And he did it on the affordable side, but it starts at the affordable side. And then, well, I could just add one more thing to it. You know, if I put on a really good delay, or why not just get something like a Strymon? I'll put on a timeline, a Strymon timeline. That's really good. And then, it'll be the high quality piece and everything else will just work. It works. Then eventually you've replaced all those cheap pedals with expensive pedals, and then a new pedal gets released. It never ends. It never ends. It's as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be. There's lots of stuff that works that is across the board. Whatever kind of specific niche of the gear you're into, that will do the job and do it well. You used to like me. Marcus, I was at the damn game. I was at that game. How do you think I felt? That was a terrible day. And it's one of those days from my childhood. I remember that vividly. Vividly. To this day. And the worst is, I remember the sun was still out when we left. I was pissed. It's like, what the hell? Can't it be nighttime? I can't even go to bed? The end of the stream, if you remind me, Marcus, I'll tell you, you're a Yankee fan, I'll tell you a really funny story at the end of this stream. Okay? You want to talk about anger. You'll laugh because you were on the other side of it. But anyways, I don't want to bore everybody with sports talk too much. Yeah, I opted not to buy a Universal Audio aux. And the reason that we didn't go with the aux, there's a few of them. First of all, I took the Victory in to Guitar Center because just looking at the thing, knowing that was what's doing it, was like, yeah, I don't ever want to see this amp again. God bless Victory. And I don't mean this to say anything bad about them, but I never wanted to see that amp again. Not to say we'll never have another Victory amp of a different kind or whatever, but that one had to go. So I bring it to the Guitar Center. And the first guy I got to, it took him 90 minutes. I kid you not, 90 minutes to figure out how much it was worth. 90 minutes. So I'm just putzing around, and I'm trying to stay away from the guitar section, believe it or not, because I don't want all the loud noises. And the guy's like, I got to dime the amp. I'm like, well, I'm going outside then. I'm like, you're going to dime the amp, you're going to go deaf. I'm like, I don't think you realize what you're working with here, sir. And he came and he goes, yeah, that's really loud. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Isn't that funny how that works? But I ended up walking with a few $100 and a Vox AC-15. And what I decided I was going to do was address the number one issue, and that is being able to use the amps I have. I didn't want to do an HX Stomp. I didn't want to do a Quad Cortex. I didn't want to do Tone X. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. I've not had the best experience personally using the 2 Notes audio. I don't care for those capture devices personally. I don't like them. If you like them, that's great. For me, absolutely not a fan. And since I ruled out the aux box, I did go with just a straight attenuator that I knew was going to be the best possible attenuator. The Tone King. So we'll have to give that a real run through. But yeah, digitally, it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. I was already kicking back a few files with Ian using the emulated mic that comes out with it, the output, and then also using the line out. And I used the Neural DSP plugin, the cabinets of those, and then I used the Helix Native. I used the cabinet of those, and I'm like, this is absolutely going to work. So the really good news here is we will be able to easily, like very safely and very easily continue demos and all that fun stuff, and continue just playing guitar on the channel with the amplifiers. That's absolutely vital to me. So we'll go down that rabbit hole in more detail in the coming weeks and however long we continue to do this for. But it just made me happy knowing that it's just like, okay, this is a quality product. This is not cheap. This doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't heat up like it's going to be on fire. There's no fan inside of it that's bothering me with all of the noise. I can use any amp with any cabinet. Doesn't matter about impedance. I'm done. And the attenuation is just the best in the business, as they say. So that's why we went with the Tone King. Is that the custom or the greenbacks? Greenbacks. I wanted the greenbacks. I did not want the blue. I wanted something a little bit more workable. Plus, I didn't want anything that kind of I don't want to say shrill, because you could still get really damn bright with the greenback, but I wanted something that would work a little bit better in a broader context. Hey Jim, I really want a shell pink strap. Guitar Center has a shell pink player, maple neck for $6.99. Do I buy and upgrade or just find an American Pro used? Can't find a shell pink made in Japan. Can't find a shell pink made in Japan one? I could easily find you one of those for in between those two prices. I know I just said earlier in the stream, I don't know if you were here, but if you, I am checking my email again now. I've decided to reinvigorate myself into the computer life. If you send me an email, info at Audiomo Music with what you're looking for, I'll help you out. There you go. But yeah, and if I had to pick between the two of them, I would absolutely I'd go with the American one. Because by the time you sort out the potential issues with the player one, unless you get really lucky. I mean, well let me caveat that this previous statement with this. If you can play the player first and it plays really well and there doesn't appear to be major fret issues, then by all means. But buying blind, that's where my opinion kind of changes a little bit. Sight unseen, I'd have a very hard time buying a new Mexican Fender at any price. I'd have a very hard time doing it, unless it was like half price. All right. I have the Tonking Iron Man Mini 2 for my Princeton. It's awesome. That is awesome. The only reason I didn't go with the Mini is because you're fixed at 8 ohms. And you're fixed at 30 watts. And you don't get, the last thing I think you don't get with that, you don't get the XLR out, which was big for me. Because now it don't matter what amp I want to use in terms of either here or playing with gigs. Like I could bring the AC-15 to a very small venue if I wanted to. Not that I would. I'd still use the Gremlin. But I could do it. And then tame it, and then have something going right to front of house from there. Perfect. Just have barely enough volume where I can hear what I'm doing, and I'm fine. But that's a long ways off right now. Right now, I'm scared to play an amp at a moderate volume as is, because of these stupid ringing ears that are ringing right now. But you push through it, because there's nothing I can do that's going to take it. No magic medicine or crap that these people lie about. And by these people, I mean, the internet, doctors, people that pretend to be doctors. Awesome. I also did the string change on the vintage tuners the way you showed me. All figured out now. Yeah, I mean, vintage tuner string change is very simple. It's all about holding down into the peg with force. You have to really push down. Use your thumb and then just wind it up. No problems. And it stays in tune great. Stays in tune great. So, while I am thinking about it, I have to announce the winner of the record. The record was by Rex. We actually have grown to really like this record in this house. Reminds us a lot of California. If you've never been to California, probably won't remind you of it. But it's got an old-fashioned flavor to it. And I'm happy to announce that the winner of the record is actually Marcus. Marcus won the record. I think that's the first time. I've only done like 2 or 3 actual straight up giveaways on here where I said I was going to buy somebody something. We used to play the guess the weight of the guitar, and whoever got closest at the end of that stream, I'd buy them a set of strings and have Amazon or Andertons or whatever ship it to them. But it's never been somebody that's been a supporting member of the channel. So it made me happy that Marcus won, because Marcus is a member of this channel, and I was like, good for him. Attaboy. So Marcus, you don't need to do anything because you're on the Discord. I think I actually have your address too already, because you sent me a JHS pedal and to demo it, and then I sent it back to you. So I should still have your address, and I will go to Rex's shop and I will ship that out onto you. And I hope you enjoy it as much as we did. Again, Marcus Anthony, you are the winner of the record. I would have got the bigger one, but I got this new for $215 out the door. That's a great deal for the Iron Man Mini. And if you only want to use it with the Princeton, you love the Princeton, That's awesome. What do you? Part of me wishes that the Vox used the same layout as the Fender because you can hook up the Iron Man easy to it. I don't know if you've looked at the back of a Vox. Ah, big problems. Big problems hooking up that attenuator to it. If I want to use the stock speaker at the same time, because on the Vox, to get to the jack, it's not like a Fender, where if you turn the Fender around, all the connections are right there at the top, pretty much regardless of what the Fender is. So you have very easy access to plugging things in and plugging things out. On the Vox, that's not the case. It's enclosed. It's closed back. And so in order to do that, I'd have to pull the entire board out, the big block that has it in it. And then I'd have to switch it every time. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. So what I will be doing when we do use the Vox, I'm just going to be plugging it straight in, because on the back of it, what I do have access to, you have two separate outputs. You have one for an external speaker that will bypass the internal speaker, and then an additional speaker. So if you wanted to run two at once. If I run it at a low enough volume, I don't think I'm going to bother with this, but I could technically run it unattenuated and then use the XLR of the Tone King to go straight into the computer and record it that way. I have options. It's just a little bit harder to actually get it wired in right on the Vox than it would be on a Fender style amp. I thought that was kind of something I oversaw, or an oversight I had when I was talking about these things. But yeah, no, that's cool, man. It's just, it sucks not being able to play. It really sucks. I'm really happy that I'm going to be able to play again. And I've been playing guitar, but not, with no noise to it. And it's funny. I've gravitated towards two guitars. One you haven't seen. You'll see tomorrow. And then the other one is the Gibson. And the big 77. I was playing that last night too. But the reason I've been going between the 77 and the Gibson is because they just sound so good acoustically that, like, it doesn't hurt as much not being able to plug them in. You know what I mean? Because they're semi-hollow body guitars. So that when I've been playing those, and then tomorrow's guitar, which is the last one. It is. It's the last one. I don't buy anything else. I have one guitar on my hit list for the rest of my life. And the only way I would do it right now is if somebody just traded me for something I already have. I finally finished the electrical work on the blue 77 X Robato. That's on Reverb. The blue custom Telecaster double bound made in Japan, California blue. That's on Reverb. And I'm even debating selling potentially 3 other guitars. 3 other guitars. Just because I feel like I'm in extreme excess. I don't need to sell anything else, but I think it would be almost for the better, especially because you got to keep in mind, well, you can't see it. It's hanging on the wall. The JV being fixed is huge. And that guitar is out of this world now with the electrical upgrades and the bridge for playability. That guitar is better than I remember. So that's got a whole new lease on life on it. Do I need 2 Strats? Do I need 5 Tellys? It's hard to say. But yeah, I don't know. So if I could get what I want for those guitars, I'd sell them. I really wouldn't care. And I'd be okay with it. I'm just at that point, you guys. I'm at that point. This probably should be the part where I ask you guys a poll about something, but I'm not going to do that. There was one thing that I did want to... I saw this and I wanted to think about it. You have to excuse me. I'm actually reading on the gear page. There was a thread that was just... It made me really kind of question a few things. From Neural DSP. I got an email from Neural earlier in the week, I think 2 or 3 days ago, about, I don't have a quad cortex anymore, but I guess there was a big security breach, and a lot of people had Wi-Fi passwords and Wi-Fi router information and all that kind of stuff like exposed, and people that were directly affected were notified and this, that, and the other. But on face value, it's like, I thought to myself, oh, that stuff happens all the time. But there was a thread on the gear page where a guy who actually works in coding, this is where they got in trouble. This guy actually dug into the minutia of it, like how poorly the security data or code was written into that thing. It was pretty shameful. And I'm not very smart when it comes to any of that stuff. I don't pretend to be very smart, but when somebody can show you something and explain what it means like directly, and you could tell when somebody like does this for a living versus just like Joe Schmo like me just repeating and regurgitating. It was kind of scary. Like you could get like anything off that. It was a very unsecure device. So there's a big oversight in my book. So I wanted to know, actually, if any of you have a quad cortex anymore. The only person I could think of that was ever on here that may have one would be Aaron Short. But I can't think of anybody else. So if you are somebody that uses a quad cortex, let me know if you got that email and how you're liking it. Because I know they also, you can't make this up, they launched a beta of their desktop editor finally at NAMM. That's not available to the public yet. Later on this year, not committing to a date, anything like that. I don't know. I don't mean to say any of this to say because I have anything against Neural, but I think that one thing the guitar industry needs to take away from this is to never make this mistake as a new brand that Neural made. And that was to overpromise and underdeliver. Because if you remember when the Quad Cortex was announced, it was like the most hyped product that I can remember outside of a guitar itself in ages. It was a really big deal. And then you had all these people, whether they were provided the device, whether they had negotiation deals or anything like that, just singing the thing's absolute praises. Like, this is it. This is it. Everyone locks in their pre-orders. You're going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to have your plugins. You're going to have a desktop editor. You're going to have this, that, and the other. And here we are in April of 2023, and a large majority of those things are still not implemented. And rightfully so. There's two sides to this. There's some people who bought it not wanting any of that stuff and weren't sold those promises, and they love the thing because for them it works and it sounds great. And then you have the other end of the coin here where people are pissed, and kind of rightfully so. But it reminds me so much of video games. You buy a video game these days and you're getting a beta version of it. There'll be DLC later of the finished game for most of these titles. But that probably costs you more afterwards. And then who knows when it's going to come out. They just keep patching and patching and patching. And I think, in contrast, a company that really has done this right is Line 6. Line 6 just released their new firmware for the Helix and for HX Native, which I own, which I'm going to be playing with a bit, hopefully in the next week. And yeah, just keep blowing it out of the ballpark, man. They're doing such a great job, and they're still using the same hardware. It's still the same Helix floor. It's still the same LT. It's still the same HX Stomp, and then even the Stomp XL, which was a little bit more recent. But some of these are going on 8 or 9 years old, if I remember correctly, and they're still supporting the product. They're still adding more. It's incredible. So my hat really is off to the people at Line 6. That was a well thought out, future-proofed, for the most part, as far as tech goes with guitar, to make it this long and still be like at the top 2 or 3 in that specific sector. Incredible job. Incredible job. Under promise, over deliver. Don't do the inverse. Cautionary tale of Neural DSP. So, is there anything that you guys would like to hit on today? I'm going to dim this light because it's kind of starting to give me a little bit of a headache. It's been a while since I've been in front of a light. When I'm doing YouTube videos, I always have this like big light shining in my eyes, and I haven't filmed much lately, so I haven't had to deal with that. Today's like the first day, and I'm like, oh, like this is weird. Feels a little strange. But let me show you one thing real quick, and I want to run this by you while you guys. And again, if there is anything you ever do want to talk about, let me know. But I want to get the momose, and I want to show you guys the neck. Now, what I'm at a conundrum with this guitar because it's out of tune, but it is so well done, like almost to a fault. I really love the color on it. Somebody on the video I made with this guitar recently, well, not that I didn't make it recently. I made it the day I got it, but I posted it on Tuesday. Yeah, that video still had the custom shop Telecaster in it. I saw it in the background, and I was like, huh, that's the last time you're showing up on this channel. But yeah, they were saying if you want to trade that for a Momose Strat, I'll do it in a second. So I chuckled to myself. I'm like, I don't want to trade guitars. And then with the 77, Phil, who's a long time viewer of this channel, I know he loves this guitar, that blue one, but he wanted to trade me his Orville for it. I don't know. I don't want to do trades, and I'm talking about selling even more stuff. But I don't know. With Phil, maybe I'll figure something out with him. But anyways, with this guitar, what I'm thinking about doing, I'm either going to do one of two things. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm either just going to leave this thing totally alone. And because honestly, I know people that love this. Very smooth neck. It's like criminally smooth though. To me, it screams way too modern. I don't like it. It's not like a satin nitro. This is just straight up like sanded with very fine sandpaper. I'm either just gonna sell this guitar, or what I'm gonna do is take it off of the neck or take it off of the body, because you can see it right there. Look at the color difference, right? What I'm thinking about doing is, this will be so sad if I do this. I kind of don't want to, but it's one of the only options I have where it'll look uniform, is then removing the rest of the finish. After removing the finish, hit it with some naphtha, and then use True Oil to apply a new finish to it, because I'm not going to spray nitro. But I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, you can really, and I just turned the light down. You can't see that? You want to talk about tan lines? Some serious tan lines. And the other thing is, like, this might just be perfect for somebody else, the way it is, without me messing with it. You know what I mean? And do I need, well, how many Telecasters do I have? Does that Troublemaker even count? I don't think it does. And the pink, the super pink one, which I would sell for the right price. That guitar was an investment piece. That just happened to be a really good player, but I'd sell that for the right price. This one, and then tomorrow's guitar. That would be 4. No, that'd be 3. I didn't count the Troublemaker. Do I need all 3? I don't think so. Really, I just need 1. So, I don't know. Let me know what you would think. And the reason I ask you guys is because I think it would be an interesting video to make, trying to refinish a neck. But I also don't know if I want my first attempt to be on a guitar this damn nice and this damn rare. Why did you do this, man? It's such a beautiful neck. Ah! I'm getting angry. Let me put it away. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Kemper and Line 6 are fantastic for the keeping the hardware and supporting it for years and years. Did a second, third version. Props to them. Yeah, that's why I said top 2 or 3. Line 6 would be. I put Kemper up there as well as far as really supporting their stuff. What would I sell that for? Let me see. What did I pay for it? If somebody in here wanted it, I'd sell it for basically what I paid just out the door. Or I could sell it on Reverb and price gouge somebody. Which honestly, I wouldn't even care about that. I'd pay for that. I'd sell it to you for $1,200 if you wanted it. It's a nitro finish. It's got yeah, it's a killer guitar. I really like it. But it's just I personally don't. I'd rather have the lacquer on the neck. I'm weird. I'm like the opposite of every modern player apparently. And when I was in Guitar Center, so many of these guitars, they have that kind of finish on it where it's so smooth. It's so smooth. But I like the feel of the lacquer. It is what it is. Again, you have my email. Shoot me an email. We'll figure it out. We'll see where you are in the world. We'll figure this out. But if you really wanted it, then yeah. If you use like boiled linseed oil, something light and natural would work. I've read combination of linseed oil and true oil working together actually is one way about going about it. But the other thing I just realized was I'd be taking the Made in Japan ink off of the neck if I did any refinish on it, because it's at the base of the neck, it's at the heel. Which that's why when I put it away, that finally crossed my mind, and I was like, well, do I want to do that? It still has the serial and everything on it, but I don't know if I'd want to do that. No, Ian, and I think you're right. I'm not going to refinish it, I don't think. I was already leaning towards not doing it. It's just a bummer that happened, because it happened to be me that got the guitar. And in the original listing, you couldn't see that it was that different. You couldn't see it. And you just assume that somebody's not going to do that and then like tell you in the description of like how extensive it was. But I mean, that's still, at the end of the day here, that's still a completely handmade guitar. It's got a killer neck shape on it, killer fretwork. It's so loud acoustically. It's awesome. And for what? For what? Less than like, yeah, right. What does a Player Plus cost? About that? Or you could buy one of those gold foils where it's not even assembled off of a factory line in Ensenada. I'm telling you, those Momo Segas are just, they're the best. It's the reason right now we got 4 in the house. 4 divisor guitars. I love them. I just wish the lacquer wasn't taken off the back of it, but it's c'est la vie. Yeah, you guys have just helped me make this decision. I'm going to sell that guitar. I'll put it on the website. We'll let somebody else enjoy it, because it's a great guitar and deserves to be played. And also, you know, there's always other Telecasters. I waited that long for that one. It took me a year to find one of those from that run that didn't have the kind of key mark in the headstock and had all the specs I wanted on it. Like, they're not super common, even in Japan. Yeah, they're tough. So, oh well. Sometimes you swing, sometimes you miss. But right now is when I'm thinking, like, this is the time to, if I'm going to get rid of things, I'd rather just do it now. Take the wife on a cruise. I told her that this morning. I was like, you want to go on a cruise? Her eyes are just like, oh my God. Yes. So that's life. But the fact that you're questioning, yeah, That's it, Ian. That's it. That is it. Uh, Rex, if you are still here, type something in the chat, because if you're not, I'm not going to address it. But this thing is really starting to bother my eyes, the light. I did tell Marcus I was going to tell one more quick story about baseball. Well, about sports. I'll have a laugh at it. This is just I'm going to pretend like I'm just talking to him. And if my dad's listening, he's going to laugh his ass off. He's going to laugh his ass off. So I was with my dad. Okay, Rex, you're still watching. Okay. Man, now I just totally brain farted. Oh, that I remember. Rex, if you're interested in doing a live stream with me where we talk just about whatever, man. Music or anything or recording or just life, if you want to, I would love to talk to you in the format that I've done it with several other people in the past. It was on my mind. I just wanted to get that out there. Okay? Let me know what your free times are. I will make that work. You're somebody I'd like to pick your brain a little bit, and I feel like we'd have a good conversation via this, not just via typing. But I was home from college when I was going to college in Orlando, and I was with my dad. We went to a Yankee Met game, Subway Series, and long and short of it, I'm a Met fan. My dad's a Yankee fan. And okay. The Mets were losing going into the 8th inning. David Wright hits a ball, a double, bounces off the wall, and we end up going ahead. Okay. The Mets have the lead going into the final at bat for the Yankees. And everything looks like it's going to go wrong for the Yankees. And at this point, we were in the outfield, kind of midsection. I forget whereabouts. We weren't in the field. We weren't in a field box. We were a little bit higher than that. But we made our way to right behind home plate. And A-Rod comes up, and he's the last out. And when I saw it was A-Rod, I was the happiest person in the world. Because I'm like, A-Rod sucks. The Mets are going to win this game. It's like, it's over. It's over. And my dad's just smiling because, first of all, he didn't like A-Rod either, but we knew he was a choke artist. Always has been. A-Rod pops up. I started jumping up and down like a child. All right? Had too much beer in me. I was in Yankee Stadium as a Met fan. We're finally going to beat the Yankees. Okay? Second baseman, Luis Castillo, drops a pop-up. All hell breaks loose. The Mets lose the game. I've never seen my dad try harder not to laugh at me. We got on the BXE, the Bronx Expressway, and I just remember wanting to cry. And it was F this and F that. Oh, I was pissed. Pissed. So I told you the story earlier about the Knicks. I thought you would appreciate that too. Yeah, shoot me an email. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. Look into super glue as a finish repair. Stumac has videos on it. Fix several guitar necks with finish issues on it. You can sand it out or gloss it to satin. It's up to you. I like that. I think I'm just gonna leave it. Rex, I read that wrong. I thought you said you were heading to Iceland to play with Elvis Costello and Nick Lowe. I was going to say, what the hell are you doing in these streams? But that's amazing. He's going on cruises. This guy's living the life right now. I'm very envious of you, Rex. Whenever you have time, shoot me an email. 45 minutes, half hour, however long you want to talk, we could do it. But I love you guys. I'm also going to be getting out of here as well. Ian just said that, and I said it as well. Thank you all for watching. There will be a video tomorrow. No more guitar playing. Still no more guitar playing for the foreseeable future. At least another few days. Week. But We might try. I might try the Tone King with the headphones at a very low volume. That I might give a shot, and we'll go from there. We'll make something work. That's all we can ever do. Thank you guys for checking this out today. I know I'm cutting a little short. Appreciate every one of you. Appreciate all your support, everything like that. You guys really are the best. And take care of your ears. Take care of each other. Play your guitars. I'm out of here. Take it easy.